Hello viewers, I am Major General Neelendra Kumar for the YouTube channel Lex Consilium Foundation. For the playlist Inse Miliye, I am speaking to Dr. A.K. Merchant today. Now Dr. Merchant is presently a faculty at the Center for Cultural Resources and Training of Ministry of Culture, but he is a well-known authority on interfaith movement, interfaith education, Indian culture. He's worked for the JNU Fund. He's a naturopath. His work for the Temple of Understanding is renowned. Area that has attracted his attention is global warming. He is committed to its reduction and connected with the Springdale School and the Moksha Trust World Peace Summit. Now, apart from these involvements, he is an active member of the Bahá'í faith and the National Spiritual Assembly. He has authored 4 monographs, and in particular I will talk about communal harmony, India's greatest challenge, and besides this there are others with over 300 articles and research papers. He was invited to speak at the Asian Buddhist conference that took place in Mongolia. He's been a participant and a delegate at the United States State Department International Exchange Program. That was in 2005 on religious diversity in America post 9/11. He was invited by His Highness Pope Benedict XVI to Global Interfaith Conference. That was as part of celebration of Assisi and the World Prayer Day for Justice and Peace, and also took part in the Parliament of World Religions. Dr. Merchant has been associated with His Holiness Dalai Lama for a number of years in various activities. He's been at the World Women's Summit and published articles on gender equality, environment and ecology, world peace, and the SDG of the United Nations. He is a resource person for the promotion of discourse of science, religion and development, and on the project Living Water for All initiatives, a recipient of many prizes and awards. He is though located in Delhi right now, but earlier years saw him active at Chennai, at Kolkata, in Jharkhand and various other places, and the viewers, you would be interested to know that originally he was in Burma, and sometime in 1965 after the military unrest in Myanmar he came to India. Now here in this playlist and in this episode I'll be talking to Dr. Merchant on a number of issues for which he is eminently qualified to speak on. He has worked on that, he is passionately connected on those issues, and the first amongst them is the new education policy and in particular skill development. Now this topic assumes importance because there are lakhs and millions in India who are devoid of any knowledge of skill, they are unemployed and they are below poverty lines. So Dr. Merchant, would you like to speak something? What do you feel about need for skill development and what needs India, what India needs to do?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much, General Neelendra Kumarji, for having me over to this Lex Consilium playlist. And I have, it was just a short while ago that I got to know about your new areas of service through these videos that you record and share with the larger audience. And I'm truly delighted that when we had a conversation a few days ago, you said, well, the range of topics that are my areas of service were of interest to you, and you said, come over, let's have a conversation. So education is the most important aspect in the life of every human being. And I have been involved as an educator for a long time. Since my association with the CCRT goes back to 1994, we have had study at the policy documents whereby the teachers in an interactive manner are acquainted with what are those basic policies of the government, center as well as state, that should help the children in our country. You know, the latest report of the United Nations Population Fund says that India is now 146 crore population. Out in this 146 crores, there are nearly 27 crore school-going children. Just imagine, 270 million children school-going. And the schools that they go to number about 1.5 million, that's like 15 lakhs. So through education, the government wants, successive governments in fact, through their various education policies, have tried to help the people in our country to develop those qualities that are essential, that will help them to meet their basic human needs, that will help them to also benefit from those aspects of life which we term as foundations for well-being, and also look at the opportunities. So the wonderful thing about the new education policy 2020, we are in the 5th year of its implementation, is that there are many interesting departures that they have made from the previous policy documents. One of the most important thing is, because of the large number of pupils or large number of children, oftentimes since 35% of our children live in the urban areas of the country and about 65% are in the rural parts, oftentimes children get enrolled in schools or they study for a number of classes and then there is a dropout. So one interesting aspect that this new education policy does is it will certify. Supposing a child has studied to a certain number of classes and it has acquired some skills or some knowledge, particularly if you go up to class 10 or if you complete class 12, then earlier if somebody dropped out, there was no certification. But now the government has agreed, because if a child is very good with music, if a child has a lot of interest in sports and is not able to do well in the academics, it doesn't mean that the child should be left behind. So by recognizing the inherent merits or the talents of the children, the government has ensured that every child, whatever study or activity they pursue, if they reach a certain level, then it should be certified. And supposing if a child wants to switch from one stream of education to another stream, this also helps them that, okay, you did not waste your time. You took up a study of a particular subject, but since your interest was much more in the other field, for instance, from academics or language learning, you are more interested in music or performing arts, then whatever number of years you have studied in the language stream, that is certified, plus you are now given opportunity to pursue what your heart is taking you to. So in this way, the certification of our children is a very important element for building the skills. And as you know, skilled manpower is a huge demand. In fact, a recent report talks about India's plans, to have something like 2,100 global capability centers. At present, and this will be a goal, this is the goal to be achieved by March 2028. For instance, today, the maximum skilled workforce in India is largely at the centers in Bangalore, where the IT sector has been at the forefront since it is our Silicon Valley. But now the plan is that apart from the IT and IT related services, there are so many other areas where skilled manpower is required. Banking, financial services, healthcare, you have something to do with engineering. In fact, as you were mentioning, General Nilendraji, your father himself was a very distinguished engineer, yes, who has worked not only in India but abroad. So these are all areas where there is a huge demand, and India itself requires these kinds of skilled manpower. So by ensuring that our youth get the right opportunity, we will be creating a whole new cadre of skilled workforce, and this will also ensure that they are adequately compensated for whatever skills they acquire, rather than trying to go abroad and find avenues to ensure their livelihood and a good future.
Thank you, Dr. Machint. I only wish that not being merely sort of a certification agency, if the government puts in some endeavors that the actual education or training in skills could also be imparted apart from the academic education, because here it is, as I understood from you, if I am interested in music and if I am a case of dropout, I come, then I would be given a certificate or a sort of testimonial that I have done so much of music. But if the government can think of initiatives, design programs where the education in different skills of contemporary needs are imparted, then well, that would also be useful, and I hope this is done at some stage. Thank you very much.
Yeah, actually I would like to add that there is a ministry, there is a ministry for skills development, and they are quite seized of this matter, that it is not simply certification. Like for instance, ever since yoga became an international phenomenon, after its recognition by the United Nations and declaring 21st of June as the International Yoga Day, we have seen a whole doors opening, floodgates have opened, whereby this particular aspect of India's civilizational ethos or culture is now being internationally recognized. And many of the young people, and as you have rightly mentioned, we must ensure that certificates are not just issued for the sake of certificates. Otherwise, it will be the same old story where we will have the largest number of unemployable youth. They may have degrees and diplomas, but they are not employable. It should not happen. So here I believe the national education policy will also ensure that each of the institutions that are asked or tasked with the issue of certificates or diplomas, they are adequately qualified to do so.
Quite right.
And not make it simply again a paper exercise.
Thank you
This
very
is something,
much.
but it's a big country, but it does provide the young people a lot of new hope. Because oftentimes they were dropouts, and then they would go for some manual labor workforce or be unskilled and not have an opportunity.
Thank you very much.
The new opportunities now going to be provided should ensure that the young people take the best advantage of the policies now put in place.
Thank you very much. This conversation would continue. Please stay with us.